Okay, so hopefully this is some clarity on that toxic friend, quote unquote friend, that you were dealing with. Because this wasn't a friend, this was an energy vampire. This was someone that had narcissistic tendencies. This is somebody that only cared about themselves. I mean, if this person did not care about their family, if they had children, they didn't give a fuck about their children. They just were very selfish and self-centered, self-absorbed, and just felt that the whole world just needed to revolve around them, and that everyone that comes into their life has to cater to them in a certain way. You know, this person had more so covert narcissistic vibes, where it was very hard to detect, because they would sound very charming, but based off of the energy that came from it, it felt very much sinister and sadistic and very cunning. And what was happening is that was your discernment in spirit picking up on the energy that they were giving off. So although like their energy felt very negative, their tone and their like sense of humor, their words may have sounded very positive, but this is what you have to recognize in covert narcissists, is that they are masters of charm and deception, and allowing other people to basically gloss over their rudeness. So this person basically wanted you to be a part of their life just so that you could be some form of company for them. Because this person is honestly a very lonely person, because they don't have very many friends, or they not in a relationship, because they really have just poor qualities, bad morals. Because of their toxic tendencies, people don't want to deal with them, and eventually they show their true colors, and then people see them for who they are, and they realize like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to have to deal with someone like that. Especially if this person came into my life wanting to be around me. How you gonna come into my life with this energy? Nah, get somebody else to do it. So basically, you decided to cut this person off, and when you did, it sent them through like this huge narcissistic injury, and it was a very violent bruise to their ego, because they weren't used to people just cutting them off or ghosting them or leaving them. They were so used to people just dealing with their toxicity, and because they genuinely wanted to be around you because you are like high status, you're very attractive, they really thought that they should. Part 2. So this person felt as if they struck gold with you. They felt as if they hit the jackpot with you, because they came across someone of high status, someone that, like, whether you are of high status in your career field, in the workplace, like you are very successful, you have climbed the ladder, whether this is just you are a very high vibrational being and you give off such wonderful, great energy. You are this royalty in spirit. You are beautiful from the inside out. You are confident. You are funny. You are just such a pleasure to be around. They really felt that they got the jackpot with you. But here's the thing. They could not handle you. They did not know how to handle you. Their own insecurities was getting in the way. Because it's crazy how they are the ones that came into your life. They are the ones that reach out to you. They are the ones that shot their shot at you. And they are the ones that's basically like trying to thrust themselves into your life. That's the energy that they gave. And it's like, you honestly didn't even want them here, nor did you need them. But because you got such a loving, giving heart, and you saw that this person didn't have anybody else, and you're like, let me go ahead and just give this person a chance, because you are friendly and you are like a friend to everyone. But then you realize that you don't have to be a friend to everybody. And when a person doesn't have very many friends, it's probably a reason for that. A lot of people may want to distance themselves from that person because of how toxic they are. Because this is the type of person that wanted you around in their presence, but all they wanted to do was put you down and treat you like shit to make themselves feel better about themselves. They wanted to feel good about themselves by putting you down and trying to one-up you. This person was in constant competition with every single thing. And a lot of times they would be in competition and they would lie about what, like, you would do something and they would lie and say that the same thing happened to them, or they did the same thing, just so that they can feel like they one-up you. This person is very, very, very immature. In a grown-ass body, they are very childish. It's giving middle school vibes. And you did the right thing by leaving this person, like, out of your life. But this person really faced a lot of narcissistic injury and a huge ego bruise, because they thought that it was sweet. They thought that they was going to have their cake and eat it too. They really thought that everything was going to be fine and dandy, and you wasn't going to catch on, and you wasn't going to leave them alone or cut them off. They thought that they would always, you know, be able to have access to you. But little did they know how wrong they were, because you are the type of person where you're like, I don't care if we work at the same place. I don't care if we live on the same block and I see you. I don't care if we live in the same apartment complex. I'm not talking to you if I don't fuck with you. This person saw how strong you are and how healed you are. Like, how much you have healed and worked on yourself. You are like, we will never be completely healed, okay? We can, but they saw that you have done more internal healing work on yourself than they have. So what they wanted to do was that anytime you would bring up anything about your pain or your past, they would try to just basically brush it aside and invalidate it and kick it to the curb, act as if it wasn't important, tell you to just get over it, because they wanted you to not heal. They wanted you to not grow and evolve. They wanted you to stay stuck and dealing with that pain by making you feel bad about it. By them saying just get over it is by them saying, I don't give a fuck about your problems and your pain, so we're not going to address it. We're going to just ignore it and act like it doesn't exist, because they didn't want you to feel that. But they also were projecting how they dealt with their pain in their own life. They could have gone through similar situations that you opened up to them about, but regardless, they are the type of person where they do not face their shadow side. They do not deal with their emotions. They spend so much time distracting themselves and engaging themselves in somebody else's life, trying to be all over somebody else's business. Like, they spend so much time trying to be up in everybody else's lane because they don't want to be in their own, because they don't want to address what is in their lane. That's why they came around you and was trying to be all up in your lane, because they saw you sitting here independent doing your own thing. So they're like, let me go ahead and just take over this person's life. This person was not a good friend. They're not a good person to be around, but they are the type of person where they would try to force people to be around them and to be in their presence, to be in their space, because they just desperately do not want to be alone. When they are alone, they are placed with their thoughts, and they want to avoid their thoughts. So they like to distract themselves in other people so that they don't have to deal with their own issues. Damn, I gotta make a part 4. Basically, because this person felt that they got played by you, because they came into your life, you know, with this sort of like ill intention, but they were hiding it and they didn't think that you would catch on. So they thought that this whole time that they were playing you, when they ended up playing themselves, because when you caught on and you cut them off and you walked away, then they realized that, wow, like, I didn't have this person wrapped around my finger like I thought I did. Like, I'm not as smart as this person. Like, this person outsmarted me. They basically really just felt like, how the hell did that just happen? You know? Like, how dare you cut me off? How dare you leave me alone? You know? And so because their ego is very fragile. Like, they do not like rejection. They have very deep rejection wounds. But the thing is, instead of them, like, because they don't do shadow work and they haven't found where the root cause of that rejection is, what they do is that when they feel rejected, they basically have a huge blow to their ego. Their ego is very hurt. So now what they want to do is they want to go out of their way to cause the same harm on someone else's ego. Like, because you bruised their ego by cutting them off, they wanted to come back around just to bruise yours. You know what I'm saying? So they waited enough time. They came back into your life, you know, tried to woo you, tried to do whatever they can, tried to say all the right things. But this time, because their agenda was so because their agenda to come against you was so important, they did not waste any time. Okay? They wasted no time. They basically just began to be the very person that they are. But the thing is, once again, they ended up playing themselves, because right when they was revealing that type of energy, you were not trying to deal with it. And you basically left a whole lot quicker than the first time. But you see, they did not think that you was going to actually cut them off. They thought that, like, you know, it's been enough time. They probably got over it. They ain't gonna do this again. But the thing is, out of all of that time that y'all had spent apart, you changed, you grew, you evolved. They did not. They stayed the same. You know, they went in and probably said this whole narrative about like how they understand why you did what you did, but you know, it was all a facade. It was all to just pretend like they are wise and that they have grown when they really have not. This person is toxic. It ain't you.